Hey everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Alison Rosen is your new best friend. I can't wait to bring in our guest, but first I must chat with the self-professed bad boy of podcasting, my producer Tony Thaxton, to find out how he's doing and catch up. Hello.
Hello. You know, I think I am the person that edits this show. I can start taking that self-proclaimed out of there.
Self-professed. But that's you admitting it, right?
No, how is that me admitting it?
I don't know. I just feel like it is. I don't know, because you freestyled on it, and what came to mind is, I proclaimed this. But you're not denying that you gave yourself the name, are you?
I don't know, am I?
I guess we'll find out when we listen back, but joke's on you. I never listen back.
That's not true. I know that's not true.
Sometimes I do, but it always, and I shouldn't say this since the thing I want, more than anything is for everyone to listen to this show. But occasionally I'll be like, I need to listen back to that. And there's this resistance. Do you have that? Well, no, we've already talked about this. With your own show, you have to listen back like a lot.
Yeah, because it's all written and heavily edited and everything. So yeah,
right.
I have to. So I don't love. Are you talking about like listening to your own voice type of thing, or just in general what you're saying?
It's weird because I think the very first time I heard my voice recorded back in the day of cassettes, I thought, oh my God, that's how I sound, which I think is the natural response.
Yeah,
but I spent so many years as a journalist where I would tape my interviews and then have to go back and transcribe that I don't mind hearing the sound of my voice. Some might even say I enjoy it. I don't know. I think it's like immediately going back into the experience of a whole show. It just feels like that's not where I want to put my brain right now.
Oh, I understand. It's rare, but every now and then we have, I think maybe only once, but we've had like a recording where I pretty much then immediately had to edit afterwards. And, it's always fun doing the show, but to like do it back to back or just completely relive it, it's not ideal.
It might just be a burnout thing. But here's the good thing. Generally, when I go back and listen, I'm always pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh, that was a great conversation. This is a fun show.
Yeah, I found that, it's so easy to get in your own head, and then I found too, like there's things where like sometimes feels like this long gap. You're like, oh, is there like an awkward silence there? And then when you listen back, it's like, oh, that was like a half of a second.
Right.
It felt like 10 seconds in the time. Yeah.
Well, full disclosure, we just had Bobcat Goldthwait on. He's delightful. I mean, I've had a long running crush on him. Listeners know. But anyway, the dismount was a little bit awkward because when I was like, thank you so much. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on, which is not the real ending. That's when I say that, and then we do plugs, and then we end, and then we turn everything off, and then I actually say goodbye to the guest. And I think he needed to go because he had a dentist appointment, but also he was like, I think he thought, I don't know, it was a little bit awkward, and I felt very weird about that. But then I went back and watched and by the way, I'm revealing trade secrets because by the time people listen to it, I am confident, Tony, that you will make it sound non-awkward. But I went back and listened to it, and it really wasn't nearly as like clunky as I thought it was.
Yeah, it was fine. I haven't edited it yet, but I remember in the moment it being, it wasn't how it was supposed to happen, but it was, things happen. It was
sometimes the magic happens when things go off the tracks. Now, in that case, that's not an example of that, but sometimes it could be. Yep. Anyway, Tony, when you edit it, you make that episode sing like only the bad boy of podcasting can.
Yep, I'm going to auto-tune it.
Perfect. I want to hear Cher in the background. All right. You know what? Actually, I was about to bring in our guest, but I'm going to ask you, Tony, do you have a relation? Do you know our guest? You know what? I got to just say who it is. I got to say who it is. And then I got to find out whether Tony already knows this person, because at the very end of my interview with Bobcat, after it was over, only then did I find out that he and Tony are fairly friendly. And I was like, well, I wish I had known that ahead of time. So now I'm going to grill you ahead of time on your relationship with every single guest that comes on. So please put I have really worked myself into a corner here of not knowing how to do this, because this is the cue to bring in the guest. Oh boy. in a moment, put your hands together after we find out if Tony knows her for very funny writer and host of the new podcast, How to Survive with Danielle and Christine. It is Ms. Danielle Koenig. Tony. Okay, so she is. This couldn't be more awkward.
This
Tony.
is putting Bobcat to shame. It's really. This is making that look like butter.
Tony.
Yes.
You are friendly with Danielle's husband, Jimmy Pardo,
Yes,
who hosts
Mr.
Never
Jimmy
Not Funny.
Pardo, yes.
Which I've also been a guest on a ton, and I love Jimmy as well. So do you already know Danielle?
We have met, but not that much, though. Like, only kind of briefly. I think, weirdly, we'll be at Podcastathon, but we, never cross paths all that often. And I remember meeting at a party, I believe, a couple of years ago. But we haven't had
you're
too
on
many
stage, usually at Podcastathon, playing those drums, so.
Correct. Yeah.
But I need to know, I don't know you well enough to know why you are the bad boy of podcasting, and I would like an answer.
I don't know him well enough to know.
I mean, I just assumed it was obvious.
Okay.
He's
fair enough. We'll let that lie.
He's dangerous.
Yeah.
He's got facial hair.
Yeah.
He plays drums in a rock band oh my God.
He's got Wayfarers?
YouTube.com/Alison Rosen. Danielle brings up a good point. Are those genuine Ray-Bans or do they want to be?
Oh, they're genuine.
He's got the
But
real
they seem
article.
like a different shape
Can we see those again,
than
please?
the classic risky business Ray-Bans.
I know there are different. Yeah, I don't know,
they're different
but these
ones.
are. Look,
It reminds me-
The logo's there. I promise.
I know, I saw it. The bad boy thing reminds me of, I don't know if you remember the ice skater, the male ice skater, Elvis Stroiko, but my friend...
I do remember that name.
You do. My friend
Yeah.
Tim Newman was like, yeah, he's the bad boy of ice skating. You know why? And I said, why? Because they did call him the bad boy of ice skating. And I said, why? And he goes, because he's straight. That's what made him the bad boy of ice skating.
I wonder how this relates to the bad boy of podcasting. No, it's
I
not.
am also straight.
Oh, I know, but all right.
Well, that's not, you don't corner the market on that.
Yeah,
Please put your hand-
believe me, I know.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Everywhere
Well,
you
there's
go,
so
it's-
many male, white,
yes,
straight
lousy
podcasters.
with other Tonys.
Exactly.
But okay, but I don't think they're named Tony. Are you? You might be the only Tony in podcasting that instantly comes to mind.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll go with that. And if there are others, I'll bet they're Anthony's, but I'm just a Tony.
Are you?
Are you literally not an Anthony?
I am not an Anthony. I am just Tony.
My mind is blown. Are you Italian?
No.
What was going on with your parents?
Yeah.
They just liked the name.
That is
It's
interesting.
literally there's nothing interesting to it at all.
I
It's
feel
just simple as
robbed.
that.
I feel like there needs to be more explanation.
Yeah. What are you hiding, bad boy?
Tony.
Or what are my parents hiding from me?
That's right. The bad parents of podcasting. Bad boys' parents. Okay, just because we have to do it, please put your hands together for Danielle Koenig.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you for having me. I'm very
Welcome.
excited to be here.
I am very excited to have you on the show. Okay, so you and I met at a party many years ago at Phil Rosenthal's.
Okay.
And
Yes.
I told you that my friend Greg Heller, who was just on the show, and many of my listeners know him because he used to be a regular on the Thursday show. He was a showrunner of the comment section, which you're a writer
That's right.
on, and he would
Yes.
always tell me you're so funny, or the funniest
my
writer. He
gosh.
always just lavished
that's
praise
so
on you.
nice. I wonder why he doesn't hire me again. But that's very nice.
Oh, he hates you though because you're so funny. That's what he said.
As do all people. Yeah, no, that was a great show. That was really fun. I specialize in shows no one's ever heard of on networks no one's ever heard of. But that one was on E, so you've heard of the network, but it was really fun. We just took headlines and did them in a sort of news presentation, but they were done by Michael Costa, who's on The Daily Show, was the host. But we would talk about the comments that were on the article. So that's why it was called the comments section. So it was all the crazy shit people say on
Right.
the internet, mainly deranged, so that was really fun. Yeah.
Well, speaking of crazy shit, your new podcast, How to Survive.
Yes.
Tell me about this. Tell me about what drew you and your co-host to this topic.
So my co-host is Christine Kimmel, and she is one of those people who's kind of afraid of everything, like every kind of natural disaster. She just kind of like, she goes into a restaurant, she checks out the exits, that kind of person who's like worried something's going to happen. It doesn't like destroy her life, but it's definitely a part of her life. And I'm not like that at all. I do not worry about that sort of thing. I have my own, inner turmoil that I'm constantly, it's more self-involved, I guess. So the idea of the show is we explore one of these like natural disasters, or like, what would happen if you were attacked by a bear? What would happen in an earthquake? How do you prepare? So we give quote unquote legitimate advice that we've Googled.
Is that why it's in quotes?
Yes, because we are not claiming to be experts on anything. But we also have fun with it, and we try to be funny about it. And then we have on a guest for the second half, and we talk about something more personal that's happened to them that they've survived, and we try to link it. So if it's like how to survive a fire and how to survive being fired, and we'll have someone come on and tell a story about being fired. So. And we want you to come on, Alison.
I would love to come on.
Are you making in-house appearances, or?
I feel like I could be. For a period of time I was. I think I did Never Not Funny during that period of time.
Okay.
And then we had, but this was like back when Delta was everywhere.
Yes.
We had a scare and I got very freaked out, and I felt like, okay, maybe I can't be moving about as confidently as I was before. But now really, like, the numbers in LA are so good. I'm going to say yes, I am.
Good, we'll book you then.
Okay,
I'm very excited. And you have itty bitties, right?
I do. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
And so, what was the age that was just approved? 5?
Yes, but they will be the next group. I've heard like maybe January, February.
Okay,
so,
great.
I don't know. It's the idea of linking like the personal catastrophe and the natural disaster. Yeah, the way you guys do it, it's very clever. Who makes the link? How do you guys figure it out?
So initially what we did is we would send out a list of topics. Like, you could choose from these topics. So if someone chose a topic, we would have something in mind. Mm-hmm. Now we're kind of like, well, these are professional comedians. They don't need to be given a list of topics. They should come in with a story they like. So sometimes we bend over a little backwards to make it sound like it's related in some way. We did, for instance, flesh-eating disease and freshman year. So, a little bit.
Right. So you're playing fast and loose.
A little fast and loose. It doesn't necessarily have to relate. It's sort of like a pun.
Right. But what are some of okay, so I know you did one, a bear attack. What was that linked to?
An overbearing people.
Nice.
Yes.
Earthquake.
We haven't done earthquake yet.
Okay.
But maybe something like your foundation is, like, maybe if you get divorced or something, your foundation is pulled out from under you. I'm just.
But even just when you're, I mean, this is the excellence of Danielle Koenig when you're just spitballing. There's really something there. One was like bombing on stage, right?
Yes. So that was a nuclear bomb. And in fact, I was listening to your podcast, and I don't remember the
John Moe.
Gentleman's. Yes. And he was talking about the day after the TV movie event. And we actually talk a great deal about that on our episode of that. So it was nuclear bomb and bombing on stage.
Yeah.
With Matt Weinhold.
So you say that you yourself do not have this fear of natural disasters, but you have inner turmoil. So what's the inner turmoil?
Yeah. So I just mainly, it's more just, I worry about my son. Mm-hmm. I just worry about, like, is he going to be able to make a living? And not because of anything wrong with him or anything, just because he's interested in show business. And, I grew up with unemployed parents, and I've been largely unemployed, on and off. And I worry about that kind of stuff. And like, will he get over his, whatever neuroses he has? Like, how do I fix that before he gets a woman? You know what I mean? Like, I break him of the shit I went through before. So it's more like that. It's more like, so, I'm a mother of a one kid. So, the fun thing about that is you just focus all your energy and neuroses on one person. And, I'm assuming it's different if you have more than one kid. I don't know, but
I
you
think
can spread it out a little.
Sort of like the heart can expand and love however many children you have. I feel like the neuroses can expand and concentrate on however many you have.
Right.
I know that I talked with Jimmy about only having one kid, and I think what he said was that it was like you guys knew that was sort of like you already you got the best you're gonna get. Like, why roll the dice again? Is that how you felt too?
Yes, but I think even before he was born, I think I really only wanted one. But like I definitely sometimes get this romantic notion, oh, it would be so nice if there were like 3 kids. Like I see families with multiple kids and I'm like, oh, that's so lovely. But I don't feel like we made a mistake or anything. I think we did the right thing for us. But yeah, he is pretty terrific. And I kind of feel like we'd be pressing our luck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So it all works for us.
I remember when we talked years ago, I was pregnant with Elliot at my first at the time. And you were saying, and I think I was relating, that you did not enjoy pregnancy.
I did not at all.
Me neither.
No, either time?
No. I think my memory is that I disliked it more with Elliot. Of course, I was overjoyed to be pregnant.
Yes,
you know?
right.
But the physical experience of being pregnant, I found unpleasant. I think I was actually more uncomfortable with Owen, but I had a real hard time kind of adjusting to this new body that I was in.
It's
and
weird,
feeling
right?
out of control. And the whole thing was just so when I was pregnant with Owen, because I had already done it, it was a little bit easier, but I felt sicker.
Yeah.
So
I was throwing up basically for the first 2 trimesters and semesters. I felt like school, and I still have nightmares that I'm naked there. Yeah, and I was just having lunch with a friend today who has a 3-year-old, and I was telling her, I went off my antidepressants while I was pregnant because I was worried about whatever it could do. And so that was very difficult. I was very depressed.
yeah.
And then I'm just, I don't want to sound pretentious. Like, I'm a dancer, but I come from dancing and I come from being able to like exercise. And so it was very strange to have this different body. And I still exercise and everything, but it's just uncomfortable. Like being given a different body after you've had the same body your whole life. It's just weird.
It is very weird.
So yeah. I was happy to get him out 10 days late, but still.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then how was this is not a pregnancy podcast, but I am curious, how was labor?
I won't go in. Well, let's just put it this way. He was induced because he was late. He did not want to separate from me, is my feeling about it. If you knew him as a little kid. And so I was induced, and I wasn't told that Pitocin, which is the drug they give you to induce labor, is more painful than natural labor. I did not know that. So I was going to do I'm going to try to push without drugs until and then we'll see. We'll just play it by ear. Well, as soon as they gave me the Pitocin, I was like, oh my God, give me the epidural. I had no idea it was going to be that painful. It was like excruciating.
Yeah.
So like I was moaning, and Jimmy he had just like taken that moment to go down the hall and had no idea it was me because he had never heard me sound like that before. So then, everything went smooth except he came out with a penis when he was not supposed to.
Oh, you were expecting a girl.
Yeah, they told us we were having a girl.
Wow.
So the rooms were pink, and there were dresses washed and hung up waiting for her. And it was very on brand for me. If you know me and you know my life, being told I'm having the opposite gender kid is pretty much falls in line.
And I bet you must have had a girl name chosen too, right?
We did. We had a couple. We had Olivia. No, I think Olivia was going to be the middle name. Why am I blanking? Oh my God, I'm blanking. I'll come back to it.
That's okay.
I know that sounds crazy, but I was really. That was the other thing I hate about my pregnancy. I didn't want a girl. I was terrified. I did not want a girl just because I was a girl and I know how hard it was. So I really wanted a boy. And then I was like, Jesus Christ, I finally got used to the idea of having a girl. And then out he comes. So
That's really unusual because usually,
I know.
usually it's the genitalia they're seeing, and that's what makes them, like with both of mine. There was something they saw on the film, and that's how they knew. So
He was hiding it.
Yeah.
He was hiding it.
Wow.
Well, that's what you get for being in Kaiser.
So
I mean, you know.
So I was kind of the opposite of you, where I really wanted a girl because I thought this will give me, I was like, I mean, it's a good thing it's kind of a good thing that I didn't have girls, because when I say what I'm about to say, anyone with any sort of like psychological savvy will be able to realize that like everything I'm saying is about me. It's not about being a good parent.
You wanted to redo your childhood?
Yeah. I was like, I can't wait to help her through her first period. I can't wait to help her through high school, through her wedding, and all these rites of passage that I felt like didn't go well for me. I'm going to be like super mom for her. So in a way, when I found out I was having boys, once I sort of, adjusted to it, I thought, well, this is good because all of that stuff I just mentioned that's about me.
Oh,
it's
that's
not about,
interesting.
Yeah. But you were the opposite. You didn't want to have a girl.
I didn't want to deal with the whole idea of self-esteem. Not that boys don't have self-esteem issues, but the whole idea of looks and weight. And I was just really scared about it.
Yeah.
And I was just, and then as the pregnancy was coming to an end, I was like picturing having tea parties and like going certain places. So I was like, oh, I can do this. This is okay. I can do it. And then it was like, oh, okay. No, I had a boy all along, and that's what I was not supposed to have, but that's what I've always wanted. So it worked out. Yeah.
So I know a little bit about your childhood because I was just listening to a very timely episode from 2013 of you on the JV Club.
Okay.
But, and I was relating to a lot of things you were saying about your childhood, like growing up in a family of malcontents, feeling not really particularly girly, not a lot of or not any attention from boys.
Right.
Being
100%.
very, very concerned with the other people's perception of you. So can you talk more about like what it was like?
Yeah, I mean, I was just not an attractive kid, and it wasn't like in my head. Like I once went to therapy, and she's like, "Well, bring in a picture of when you were in 4th grade, so I can understand what you're talking about. Let me just see, like, I what your perception is." And I brought in a picture. This is like a famous picture I used to talk about it, where I'm wearing like a denim vest over a white collared shirt with my hair like pulled back, but not smooth because my mom didn't do my own hair. I had to do it. And braces, because I had braces really early. And I was like, this. And I brought it in, and she was like, oh, I can see what you're talking about.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she didn't give me a get out of here. She was like, yeah, you're totally justified in feeling how you felt, which actually did feel good, but it was also
that's validating.
Funny. So I was just not an attractive kid. And I did ballet from a very early age, from 5. And, it's a very feminine pursuit. And I didn't feel the most feminine. I mean, I definitely tried in ballet, and I loved it, but I was never good enough. So that was another thing. Like, why did I stick with something that I clearly wasn't good enough to achieve in, and that my friends were better at? It's like a strange sort of mentality. Like, why did I guess I loved it in a sense, but it also brought me a lot of pain. So I don't know. I always find it fascinating when people are, I hope I'm not getting too far afield here, but
no, that's fine.
When people are delusional, like when I first started watching American Idol, and people would sing in the auditions and they thought they were good and they were terrible. And I was like, I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand not being aware of your limitations. Like, I was so self-critical that, I mean, maybe also I could see around me, but that's what I don't get. Like, you can see people around you who are doing this well. Why don't you get that? Or it was just very strange to me.
Right.
But yeah, so I was always the kid I was very good in school, and I was always funny or trying to be funny. And my 5th grade teacher who ended up to be my parents' therapist.
At a later time?
Yeah, at a later time. Oh, my parents waited way after I moved out of the house to get therapy and cable. Both. They were just like, nope, no relief for you. We're waiting. Yeah, she like named me, the kid in the class with the best sense of humor or something. It was very much a defense mechanism. I'm very stunned today when I see really attractive women who are funny. And it happens more and more. And it's great, but I completely don't understand, like, why did they have to be funny? Like, I can't.
I always assume that maybe they grew into their looks and there must have been some kind of something that will explain this.
But you're very beautiful. Were you not attractive as a kid?
Thank you so much.
No, you are. To me, you're very classically beautiful. Like,
oh my God, that is like.
I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable.
No,
you've done the opposite. I know Alison well.
I'm gonna get rebooked.
I love a compliment, especially that one. That just took an old wound that I carry around with me and
really?
like buffed it, put a Band-Aid on it or fixed it, because I remember being on the phone with this guy that I had this crush on when I was in my early 20s. And he said something about, I think he was talking, who's the director? Not Lynch. John Waters.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, what's the movie?
Crybaby?
No, I'm thinking of Lost Highway. So it is Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
Like he had an very like auteur kind of artistic sensibility. And I think he was drawn to what would be considered flawed beauty. And I sort of wondered, like, where do I fit into this? And then I remember he said with this, I don't think he meant it to be so harsh, but he's like, what? Like, you consider yourself some classic beauty? And I was like, oh, I will talk about this in 20 years on a podcast.
Oh, you asshole.
So I hope he's listening, and I hope he knows that you said I am classically beautiful.
I do think you are. I think it's very...
Thank you. I don't consider myself that at all. I was the fat kid. I was overweight as a kid.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I was cute at the beginning, I would say. And then my younger sister was born, and around the time she turned into the most adorable baby in the whole world. I mean, she had like, and it sounds not cute, but it was really cute. She had like an adult face on a child. I know that sounds horrifying.
It sounds like Uncanny Valley or something.
I know. But I mean, there was just this.
No, but I know what you mean. There are some children who you're like, should I think that child is gorgeous?
Yeah.
Not cute, but gorgeous.
People would like come across this, they just wanted to touch her, like, oh my God, she looks like Elizabeth Taylor. Like she had
did she have blue eyes?
No, actually, but I'm like, no, but she had very defined eyebrows and like a soulfulness. Wow. I know though I'm not doing it justice. She should have been a model, except that she did not like everyone wanting to touch her. I think she didn't like the attention. But around that time, I was really chunking up. I had curly hair that my mom didn't know what to do with. I had one of my front teeth was like almost at a 90-degree angle to the other one. And I would wear like dolphin shorts and a crop top.
Of course you did.
I was super into Michael Jackson, and I made my own Michael Jackson buttons. Yeah, I was like, just
did you have one of those did you have one of those button makers?
Yes.
That is awesome. I think I'm really jealous.
It was called like Make a Badge, I think. And they had different price points for the Make a Badge, because the cheaper ones you had to like get an adult to pull the lever because they were so difficult. So you never had one, but you knew of them?
Yeah, I never had one, but I can picture it. So I must have seen it at some point.
It was really hard to pull the lever on it. But
I think it's so funny that it's like, parents, if you don't want to have to help, shell out the bucks.
Exactly. You can get the more automated one. Sort of like SodaStream. The early ones are like pretty mechanical, and now I think it's more automatic. But anyway,
the SodaStream I got is terrible now. The older one was better.
Oh,
This
really?
one's leaks all the time. I don't understand what I'm doing
Interesting.
wrong.
I know
Anyway,
Tony's a
sorry.
real SodaStream head.
I've had one leak before, but it only once or twice. I didn't know if it was something with the actual cartridge or what.
It must be doing
don't
something
know.
wrong.
Maybe I should get out my vintage SodaStream and dust that one off and see how it works. Now that I know that it might be better. I feel like a classic beauty like me would use a vintage SodaStream.
I remember the name of my fake baby, by the way.
Oh, what was it? Her.
I was this whole time. I was like, how can you not fucking remember the name of your would-be child? So Ruby Olivia was one choice, and the
that's
other
sweet.
choice was no, I can't remember the Bella Maeve.
These are very romantic, sweet names.
Yes, but I knew Bella was used a lot, and I really liked the name Ruby, and I think we would have gone with Ruby.
That's a
and
cute
now,
name.
whenever you see a little baby named Ruby, she always has glasses, and she's always like the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life. And Ruby Pardo sounds great.
It really does.
Yeah.
So you had to pivot.
Had to pivot big time, and they came in and they kept asking, what's his name? And I'm like, I don't know. You told me it was going to be a girl, so why don't you give me a second? So we were debating between Oliver and Oscar. I don't know where we got those names. And his middle name is Griffin, and I would have named him Griffin Oliver Pardo, but then his initials would have been GOP. And I didn't really want that. So we looked up popular names in the United States because we didn't want a super popular name.
Right.
And Oliver was not up there. But we made the mistake of not looking up popular names in California because then it was like, oh, everyone's named Oliver. So it was kind of a bummer. But anyway.
My son's my 4-year-old's middle name is Oliver.
Oh,
yeah.
See? That
know.
Elliot Oliver? Oh, that's cute. That's really cute.
Thank you.
Oh.
So anyway, yeah. So I too was an awkward kid. And I think that it's fairly easy for me to still dip into that feeling. What about you?
I mean, kind of every day. It's like I had a nose job, but it didn't really take. So,
Wait, what does that mean? You didn't like the results?
I mean, it doesn't look like I've had a nose job. It's still pretty large. But yeah, I asked for subtle, and that was not probably the best idea. So, it's hard for me to look at myself like you were having us take pictures earlier. I'm like, this just feels like getting the COVID shot. Like, let's just get it over with. I don't like taking pictures. Oh, that was the other reason I didn't want a girl. I was like, she's going to have my face. And she's going to have to. I used to do a joke about getting in utero rhinoplasty for my daughter because I was like so worried. So, yeah, it's not like I ever really grew out of it. I feel like I had a few years in my early 20s where I was like, okay, now I'm sort of attractive, but that was very short-lived feeling. So yeah, it's always with me. Always.
Oh, I think a lot of people will relate to this because I think so many human beings walk around feeling this way. But it hurts my heart to hear that you feel that way because I think you are a classic beauty.
Well, there's nothing classic about this face, but I appreciate it. And also I grew up in Los Angeles.
Yeah. And you were also going on auditions in the midst of all this, right?
Yes. So I was a kid actor, and it's really funny. I was remembering that there was a girl in my junior high who was a very popular girl, and I was not in the popular group, but I was, I knew them, and I was in acting class with the popular kids, but she also was an actor. So we would see each other after school at auditions, and it was just kind of awkward because we didn't really talk during school, and then it would be like, hi, but at least she wasn't like a blonde, typical California looking girl either, but she did have blue eyes and she was sort of striking. And so I did audition, and that was very hard. It was, again, maybe not the best decision to be judged on your looks on a regular basis when every other girl in there has beautiful blonde hair and blue eyes. And this was not the time of ethnic casting. So it was very, not that I was a great actor. I really wasn't, but I would get close enough times that, kind of like, but I booked some things, and I was always like the ugly best friend. And now I feel bad. Like, you can't even be the ugly best friend. Like even the ugly best friend is gorgeous.
I know.
Now. It's like terrible. It's I mean, I guess it's changing a little bit. Like I do see some shows where the kids are like different sizes and different, but I mean, yeah.
Right. But in movies especially, yes, there are exceptions, but typically it's like the Sandra Bullock thing where, oh, she's so awkward. Then she takes off her glasses and lets her hair
Right.
down. It's like, oh, she was Sandra Bullock all along.
Right. But at least she's the lead. But I'm saying when it's like the second lead and, the best friend, and they have to be striking
Right.
for some reason. It's like,
So
silly.
Was the acting something, because I know you come from a showbiz family. Was
Yes.
the acting, your dad, for people who don't know, your dad was on Star Trek.
Yeah.
And was your mom also a performer?
My mom is an actor. She didn't do recognizable things. So I always say she's an actress, which means she does plays where she plays someone 20 years older than herself, always with a British accent, whether the part calls for it or not. She can't really play characters 20 years older than she is anymore because she's quite up there. But she's a theater actress. And my brother was an actor. He was on a TV show called Growing Pains.
Yes, boner.
And so it was definitely the family business. And no, I enjoyed it. And I mean, I
like,
think,
did you say, I want to do this too?
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't like my parents never pushed me or anything. And I mean, I think my preference probably would have been to be a ballet dancer, but I just wasn't good enough. And I knew I wasn't. And so a lot of that is like, that's why I'm so resentful of people who say like, if you just try hard enough, you could do anything. It's like, no, you fucking can't. That's a ridiculous thing. And you should not tell your children that. Because there are natural talents that some people don't have. And there's also luck. And anyway, I'm a little bit a downer about that. But I think you can get better at things. I don't think you can necessarily make your dream come true because you wish it. Well, I just got really dark. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's honest. It's honest. Hey,
It's honest.
we've had a very terrible couple years here. So I feel like this is you're upbeat compared to what a lot of us are dealing with.
Good. So, but the acting I did enjoy, and I actually went to theater, a theater high school. I went to, it's called LA County High School for the Arts, and I was a theater major, and I really did enjoy that. And I had great friends, and, I didn't end up becoming an actor, but I acted while I was at the school. I did some professional stuff while I was at the school. You weren't supposed to, but I didn't really care because it was nothing. It was always like a week on a show. It wasn't like a long-term.
Why were you not supposed to?
It was one of those things where it's like you're not supposed to do professional gigs because they want you to be serious about the studying and they don't want you to keep going in and out of school. But I didn't work enough that it was a problem.
Right.
And yeah, they don't. And maybe it's just a sort of a philosophical thing of like, you're not ready yet, but like, you don't really need a full theater training to be on a sitcom. So,
right.
It's okay.
Let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, I want to find out about the show where you played two different ugly friends.
Okay.
Santa baby, it's holiday season and you don't know what to get as a gift or a stocking stuffer? Well, today's sponsor, Manscaped, has the tools to guarantee you win this year's stocking stuffer competition. Is there a competition? I didn't know that. Manscaped, thank you for giving me an excuse to get all the gifts he's been needing year-round. They've changed more than 4 million men worldwide for the better. If my math is correct, that's almost 8 million balls. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/bestfriend. So Daniel now has the entire suite of Manscaped products. He is so he would die if he knew I was telling you this, but he is so well groomed right now. He will go into the bathroom late at night and I just hear bzzz, bzzz, but like it's quiet. Maybe more like bzzz. I don't know what he's doing in there, but he is loving his Manscaped products. And I am loving that he's loving his Manscaped products. Ho, 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 fellas. Naughty or nice, 'tis the season to perform. Ladies, you know what I mean. Manscaped's best-selling product is the Performance Package 4.0, which is at the top of every man's wish list this year. Inside, you'll find their lawnmower body trimmer, the best trimmer on the market for his balls, back, chest. The list goes on. And the Weed Whacker ear and nose trimmer. Let's not forget their famous liquid formulations, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant and the Crop Reviver ball toner. to keep him smelling nice down there. You're getting yourself a deal with the Performance Package. Order now to receive their 2 free gifts, the Manscaped's Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Ladies, this is the perfect gift for you and your man. And trust me, he will thank you. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free, so you know his cojones are in good hands. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/bestfriend. Cheers to rocking the best gifts of all this season. A gift for him, but really a gift for you. XOXO Manscaped. I also want to tell you guys about Skylight Frame. I love Skylight Frame. Skylight Frame is this beautiful, sleek, high-end digital photo frame. Before they were even a sponsor on the show, Daniel came to me and he said, honey, I know what we should get the grandmas for Mother's Day, or maybe it was Christmas. I can't remember. It was like one of the big ones where we're like, we need to send them something really nice. And he showed me the Skylight Frame, which I hadn't heard of. And we sent it to them. Neither of them are super duper tech savvy or anything. They both got it up and running within minutes. They both love them. Now we have one. I love it. It's really easy to set up, and then there's a special email address you have, and you can email photos to the frame. So then they appear instantly. When we go down to visit my parents, my kids love to play with it. They swipe through, they can heart different photos. It's just a really nice way to say, hey, you mean something to me even though we're far apart, or you mean something to me even though I live with you. It's just a great gift all around. I recommend it very highly. Now, as a special offer, you can get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com and enter code Alison. That's right. To get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame, just go to skylightframe.com and enter code Alison. That's Skylight Frame, SKYLIGHTFRAME.com, promo code Alison. And we're back. So I know that you played 2 different characters on Life Goes On. And
I did.
Let me tell you, I was this is the most depressing.
What?
I was a featured extra on Life Goes On.
No.
A featured extra. I think I got maybe $10 more than the other extras.
Did you have to do something? Well,
Yes.
What did you do that made you a featured extra?
I dove into a pool.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Becca, was that her name?
Yep.
Becca was on, I don't know if she was on a swim team or if it was just swim practice at school, but it was students, it was her and whatever her friend's name on the show was who had the curly dark hair. Andrea?
You know, I actually don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either. But they were there, and then there was a handful of us who dove off the side of the pool.
Did you grow up here in LA?
I grew up in Orange County.
Oh, okay. So you were doing extra work. Were you an adult playing a kid, or were you a kid?
No, I was like 13. I really wanted to be doing what you were doing. I really wanted to be a performer. And at first my parents said no because they felt like that's not, they didn't want me to be a child star. Although I don't think they need to worry about that. But they just were like, no, let's not do that. And then at some point they said, if all we're doing is driving you, like if you take care of everything and we're just driving you, we won't stand in the way of your dream. Okay. So I think I found a manager, and then I started doing extra work, and then I got an agent and started going on auditions and things like that. But then around the time I think it was, I always looked older than I was. So if I had been emancipated, maybe that would have helped. I don't know, but I wasn't. And around the time I turned 18, I was getting ready to go to college, and like it just didn't hold no allure for me anymore.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always looked younger than I was, so I was playing, usually it's a couple of years younger. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I was on 2 different episodes of Life Goes On, playing Becca's friend both times, I think. And one was something, Becca in the newspaper. She was selling a school newspaper or something, or I remember I was selling it, and it was one of those, there was so much physical stuff where you had to like make a mark, say your line, hand out things. And I was very nervous. I remember that. And then the other one, I think it was the other one, I was super nervous because I had to ride a bicycle, and I am not good at riding a bicycle. Like, it's a whole fucking lore in my family. But anyway, it's the whole reason. But And so I was like terrified. I had always been worried that I would have to, which of course is ridiculous because I would never be cast in this part, but I was always worried that I'd have to kiss a boy on a TV show when I hadn't done it in real life. So I was terrified, but this was almost worse. I was like, oh my God, I saw the bicycle and I was like, and for some reason, I don't know what happened, but they cut it out that I didn't have to ride the bicycle. I didn't say anything. I was just going to fake it. But I was so fucking nervous and like worried. And so I was very relieved, but yeah. So yeah, it was fun, but.
So what was so you had to sell a newspaper, and then what was the plot of the episode where you had to ride the bike, but they didn't use it?
I don't remember now. It's so weird that I don't remember. I just remember one was, that we were doing like an underground newspaper. That's what it was.
Oh.
Like Becca was, because she was such a rabble rouser.
Right.
And so we were doing, an underground newspaper. So it was more like I was resentful of her because she was a pretty girl or something. It was something horrible like that. And they always put me in insane costumes whenever I would do these shows, like big blossom hats and shit like that, like layers and layers and layers. This was the time period. It was like you weren't supposed to wear anything flattering. It was all hideous. And I can't remember what the other episode is. I'm shocked. I can't remember. But
I bet we could find it on IMDb.
Yes, I'm sure we could. I was a featured extra in the movie The Craft. So around this time of year, I usually get about 50 cents or so, which is pretty exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was just a regular old extra in Postcards from the Edge, so I don't see any sort of residual.
Now, that is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, really?
Although I've recently revisited it, and it was a little disappointing. But what scene were you in?
I believe it is the car crash scene. So Shirley MacLaine is driving a car, right? And I was standing. We filmed it at Connie Stevens' house, I think. Yeah.
Why?
Wait, no. Connie Francis? Which one is related? Which one is related to Carrie Fisher? I think it's Connie Stevens.
No, Carrie Fisher's real mom was Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah,
yes.
Eddie Fisher was her dad.
Eddie Fisher. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Eddie Fisher married Connie Stevens, I believe, after Debbie Reynolds. So maybe that's her stepmom.
Right. And so Carrie Fisher wrote the book.
Yes.
I don't know. So somehow, for some reason, yes. Right. So that's where it was filmed. I was standing on the corner and you just see the car go by, and then there's like 3 people on the corner. But, when you're an extra, you bring your own clothes. And they put me in. So I'm embarrassed that I owned this, but did you own many sets of Guess jeans with the matching jacket?
No, because my brother would have teased me mercilessly.
Mercilessly. Yeah.
Because I once had a yellow polo shirt, and not a classic polo, like a button-up polo shirt, like buttoned up from the bottom to the top.
That sounds cool.
And I was a soch in his words. So I would never have bought Guess jeans. That would have been way too trendy.
Right.
But yes, there were kids in my school who had the jeans and the jacket for sure.
So I had one, it was white jeans and a white jacket with black polka dots all over it. I mean, I looked like a cow. It was it was so ugly. I cannot believe I chose that for myself.
But you thought it was the bomb.
I think so, but for a brief amount of time. I also had an entire set in neon pink, and that I felt was pretty stylish for a lot longer.
Wait, did the neon pink jacket also have polka dots?
No, there were no polka dots. That one was just
neon
straight
pink
up
jeans,
straight up neon. Yeah, and then like a neon, like a silky neon shirt. I mean, it was just a walking highlighter. Yeah, it's bad. But anyway, so they put me in the polka dot jeans and then this shirt I had from Fred Siegel. I am like the least fashionable person now. I cycle between like 4 different things. I am not a clothing person at all, but I think I was trying on that personality for a little while when I was a teenager. And so I asked my mom if we could go up to LA and go shopping. And I believe I got this shirt at Fred Siegel, and it was chambray, so like denim, and it had these big velvet stars on it, like 2 or 3,
like where the
breasts
are?
Above the breasts. I know. I look like I'm holding.
Yeah.
I got to stop doing this with my hands again. YouTube.com/Alison Rosen to see me feel myself up in the air. Yeah. So anyway, velvet star shirt, and polka dot pants.
Oh my God.
Really blending into the background.
I'm going to look this up now.
You might be able, I mean, it's fast, but that with that outfit, I feel like you might be able to see me.
That's amazing. I once went for a job interview at Fred Siegel, and the manager of the store was like best friends with my cousin, my older cousin, who is much cooler than I am. And so this woman, who was the friend of my cousin, was interviewing me for the job, and she was like, so like, how many times would you say you've done cocaine? And I was
That's
like,
in your interview?
yeah, to work at Fred Siegel.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what? And I was in my early 20s, like really early, maybe 19 even. I don't know. And I was like, what? And she goes, well, I mean, you grew up in Los Angeles. And I was like, I've never done cocaine. And she was like, oh, okay. Like, I think it was a mark against me because I didn't get the job.
Right.
But yeah.
Wow.
That's Fred Siegel. $500 for a t-shirt.
Wow.
And how many times have you done cocaine?
What did you do in the craft?
I was whispering girl. I actually did not wear my own clothes because it was a private school. So I got to wear, every Jewish girl's dream, I got to wear a little Catholic school girl outfit. So that was exciting. I think I had lines. Yes, I had lines in the script, but you literally just hear me whispering. You don't hear what I'm saying. But whispering girl is the credit. So I guess I was cast. I read for it. It wasn't like I was an extra.
Right.
But I was
So
an extra.
that wasn't really an extra. That's not
yeah,
extra.
I was an extra in that movie, High School High, with it was supposed to be like a Zucker Brothers. It may have been a Zucker Brothers movie actually, with John Lovitz. Don't ask.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. They made me up to look like a chola. I guess they thought I looked Hispanic or something. So it was awful. It was just humiliating. I would not. Yeah, I did not care for extra work. I'd rather work at the Gap, which is what I ended up doing.
At the time, I was like, I get to miss school and make $100.
Well, yeah.
That was pretty
I
great.
was an adult when I did
Right.
it. I just, like I said, I looked younger. So I mean, I had a job, like a real person job that I left to do this. So it wasn't, yes, it's a good way to make a little money when you first start. But I'd already been like on television shows. So I was like, this is just too much for my ego. I can't take
down.
this.
Yeah. So at some point you switched your focus from acting to writing. Yes.
Yeah, so I auditioned for the theater program at NYU, and I didn't get in, which I was a little bit surprised at because I did rather well in my I thought I did in my theater department in high school. So I didn't get in. So I was a little lost. I still went to NYU, and I always knew I wanted to write, and really I always knew I wanted to do stand-up. I was into stand-up from an early age, and I just didn't know really how to go about it. So I couldn't get any writing classes my first year in college, which I guess is just normal, but I didn't know that. And I found that very off-putting. Like, anyway, I didn't end up going back to college. I only did 1 year, which is a huge regret. But in any case, I thought I'm going to be a stand-up comic. So the truth is I just really didn't go about it the right way. And first of all, I started in Los Angeles, which everyone tells you don't do that.
Because all eyes are on you too much.
Yeah, you're judged immediately. You don't have time to like ripen, and there aren't really enough places to go. And I wasn't ambitious enough in it. I thought I was trying, but I wasn't trying hard enough, I think. And so I started to try to write. I mean, I was always a writer. I mean, I always did stuff, and I always enjoyed writing. And I kept trying to get writer's assistant jobs, and I swear to God, they're as hard to get as writing jobs. They're really, really hard to get. I don't know how it works now, but when I was trying, it was really hard. And then an ex-boyfriend of mine was going to be the head writer on a new animated show, and he said, "Do you want to be the writer's assistant?" I was like, "Yes, of course." So I joined that show. It's called Invader Zim, and it became a cult hit. And I wrote several episodes. And there's a pattern in my life where this happens. And it happened in this case where I was told, if we get picked up for next season, you're going to be a staff writer. And I was like, oh, that's all I want. I just want to be a staff writer on a show. And 9/11 happened and the show was canceled because it was too dark. And so I didn't get that opportunity. So, but I've done a lot of animation since. So it was definitely helpful, and it was really fun. And so, yeah.
According to IMDb, you wrote an episode of Abby Hatcher, which did you? Because my son was super into that show for a period of time.
So does it actually give me a credit?
I believe, yeah.
I was in on that's weird because I was in on the like development stages, but I didn't go beyond that. So I'm not sure.
I thought maybe
I did write an episode, but I didn't think they used it. So I'm a little confused about that.
Well, I believe it's on IMDb.
Okay, well, let me have it.
It's story by.
That's what it is. Okay, that's what it is. It's story by. Yeah, but I don't know if your kids ever watched Word Girl. I wrote a few of those. That was a really fun. For anyone with little kids, I recommend that show.
I got to check that one out.
It's really good. Donna Furman does the lead voice, and then Maria Bamford does a voice, and all sorts of people. And that's really fun for little kids because it's actually funny, and it's not like adult dirty funny. It's just funny. It's just a sweet show. So yeah, I've done a lot of animation, and so it all worked out. I think how it's supposed to. Like I do miss stand up sometimes. I wish I just wish I could go back and like make a better go of it or start somewhere else or something. But yeah.
Do you feel like you couldn't do it now?
Well, when my son was born is when I really stopped because I was like, I don't really want to go out at night. And I mean, I really respect women who still do it, but I wasn't far enough along in a career to make that worth it. It would have still been like I'm going out to open mics while I have a baby at home. It didn't really make sense. And I've tried to go back, once or twice, and it's fun and I enjoy it. But no, I wouldn't feel like, and I'm not saying I never would do it again. I definitely would, but like I said, I was never an established enough comic that it's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to dust it off and hop back on after some hiatus or something. So. Yeah. Do you do stand-up, Alison? I'm not.
No, I mean, I did for like half a minute when I lived in New York, and
another hard place to start. I'm guessing.
Yes, yeah. I just I didn't. The last time I did it, I remember looking at my watch and thinking, okay, by this time this will be over, and I can't wait to get to that point. And I thought, this is maybe not for me,
right?
If I can't wait to not have to do it.
Was it because of the stress of the nervousness?
It was so like other comedians would laugh that I even am calling that stand up, even though it was, but it was so early in the process that I was just nervous about remembering all my material. And I think, I really like doing live television. That format felt good, and I like doing podcasting. Standing on stage is just not my favorite thing in a club.
Yeah.
I don't, I've done tons of live podcasts and I enjoy it, but it's not I don't know. It's just not like, I feel like how I imagine Jimmy feels when he stands on stage. I don't think I've ever felt that. Maybe a tiny bit at the beginning, and that's what made me do it the second time. But,
Right. Well, having control of a room is pretty intoxicating, but yeah, it's hard to get there, and I certainly didn't achieve it enough times, as much as I would have liked to. But yeah, I mean, I was an actor, and so and also, this is sort of related, but I was talking to someone the other day who's a friend of mine who's a writer, and she was saying that she was working on the show, and none of the younger people were pitching anything, and I was like, see, that's where it helps to have a performance background, because you can't be shy in a writing room. You gotta you gotta open up your mouth and talk. Even if the idea is shitty, you gotta say something. So I've never had a problem with that. Like, I've never been, I can't pitch my idea, So it's definitely helpful to have that background, I think.
Right. Did you, that feeling of control of a room, you did experience that quite a bit though?
I don't know if I experienced it quite a bit. I experienced it enough that I wanted to do it more. Yes, definitely. Yeah. It's a weird thing to get up by yourself and think and be arrogant enough to think I can make this room laugh.
Yeah.
And then do it. It's weird.
I've had, now that I think about it, like I've definitely had moments where I had tons of moments on the Adam Carolla show where it felt like, oh my God, like they are just eating up everything we're doing. So I experienced it sort of in that way, but that they were responding to things I was saying, but that was not like my show. And then when I've done my own show, I've definitely had moments here or there where it is like a very responsive audience and it feels really good and I get a taste of it, but I haven't experienced it, I don't think, in the same way that a stand-up has. It's like that's like a different skill set, I think, than I have.
So how would you feel if you're doing a radio show? You mean the other people in the studio? Like, how are you feeling that the reaction?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the reaction. I was just talking about. Wait, if I'm understanding
you said that when you were on Carolla, you would have moments where you felt.
Oh yeah, because we did a lot of live podcasts.
Oh, you did.
Like we would tour basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
No worries. Yeah, and then with my own show, I mean, the time what I was talking about is like doing my own podcast in a theater or doing it live or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to do that. See, I think I would find that really fun because
you guys should do some live performances of How to Survive then.
We're a baby show. Hopefully in the future, definitely. We're building up an audience and it's how long have you been doing this show?
Oh my God, 1,000 years, but actually since 2012.
Okay, so you have got it down. Like, yeah, we're just, I mean, we've only aired 5 episodes and we're just, figuring it out and stuff.
Right.
But people seem to be enjoying it and it's really nice, it's neat.
Let's take another quick break. And then I want to find out how you met Jimmy. I want to tell you guys about the Ring alarm. I am super duper happy with our Ring alarm. When we moved into this house, we wanted to get some kind of alarm system. Daniel especially wanted to get one. We looked around at the various ones. I didn't want to have to sign up. I didn't want to enter into some impossible to leave arrangement with a company and then we'd be dependent on them for everything and they would have to come out and set it up. And I just kept hearing these horror stories. And then I learned that Ring, a company that I was already familiar with because we have the Ring doorbell. You probably have a Ring. I feel like everyone at this point has a Ring doorbell. And I can't imagine life without it. So this company that I was already very into, I found out that they have a Ring alarm and it's a game changer. We went out, we bought it, brought it home. Daniel got it set up in minutes. It's very easy. You place the sensors where you want them. And then shortly after that, we took a vacation and just had such peace of mind knowing our home was protected and we could monitor it from far away. It's great. And it works seamlessly with other Ring products. You don't need to have other Ring products, but if you do, it does work seamlessly with them. And I love my Ring alarm system because it makes my family and I feel safe while we're at home. You can protect your whole home with the Ring alarm. Powerful, affordable. You can easily install it yourself. It's more than just security. It protects your home from flood, freeze, and fire too. Do you know how much more you are paying for the same thing with another company? It's literally the same professional monitoring you get from more expensive companies. The only difference is setting up the sensors. Why would you pay a big time subscription fee for that? For 1 month, you could get an entire year of Ring and you are getting the same protection. This holiday season, deck the halls, walls, and doors and windows with the best deals of the year on the award-winning Ring alarm. Go to ring.com/best friend to get a great deal on a Ring alarm security kit today. That's ring.com/best friend. I also want to tell you guys about Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Pack your bags for the trip of a lifetime in the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, streaming only on Peacock. This new original exclusive is the Real Housewives crossover that fans have been asking for. Finally, you can see 7 iconic housewives from 4 different cities together in one place, including Cynthia Bailey and Kenya Moore from Atlanta, Kyle Richards from Beverly Hills, Teresa Giudice and Melissa Gorga from New Jersey, and Ramona Singer and Luann man from New York City. With a crew like that, what could possibly go wrong? As any Real Housewives fan knows, the girls' trips are legendary. Watch these housewives enter into uncharted territory as they vacation poolside in their stunning Turks and Caicos villa. This trip will not disappoint. See this exclusive crossover event now and watch new episodes every Thursday. Plus, stream more of your reality favorites on Peacock, including all past seasons of The Real Housewives, hit movies and shows, exclusive originals, live sports, news, and more. Go to peacocktv.com to sign up. Okay, so I know that I've heard the story from Jimmy, but from you, how did you guys meet?
Well, there's a couple of different versions. That's why you may hear a different version.
Yeah.
We have the same representation, which is the grossest, most LA pukey thing ever. And I had been, the story he probably told was that I had been dating a friend of his. Mm-hmm. And I walked into a party with this guy, and Jimmy saw me and said to his friend, a different friend, he's going to marry that girl, which is insane and ridiculous. And
because you're a classic beauty.
Right. Exactly. And he did. But the way I remember it was a while after that, I was inviting people to a different friend's birthday party. I was calling up everyone, and I called him up. Mm-hmm. He was on the list, and I called him up to invite him. And we got to talking that way. And that was sort of how I remember us, connecting. And then we went on a date, and then, a gajillion years later, here we are.
Was your relationship with him different than relationships that had come before it?
100%. Yeah. I hadn't really had that many relationships. I was a very late bloomer, as per what I was saying earlier. And so, yeah, I mean, he admitted I was his girlfriend. So that was one thing. That was one difference from the other guys. I wasn't being sneaked around. So, yeah, we were just and I remember on our first date, I said something about, I don't date more than one person at once. I don't understand that. And he was like, oh my God, where did you come from? Because he felt the same way. Because I don't know, I grew up on watching, Three's Company or something. It's like, well, I have a date with Harry on Friday and Sam on Saturday. And I was like, do people really do? And I still don't understand if people do that, but it was never in my DNA to do that. I thought that was really weird. It's hard to find one person you like enough to date, much less more than one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we just connected and, we come from very different places and our sense of humor is actually not completely the same. And we do very different things, which I think makes it better because he's much more a performer and I'm much more a writer. So because people are always like, oh, are you competitive? But we're really not because we're not really doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So, and we help each other with stuff. So.
What does he make of your feelings about yourself?
He hates it. He hates when I say, ugh, I feel fat or I don't look good. He gets kind of upset about it, which is very sweet. But, after you've been married for a long time, of course that person's opinion matters, but it's still well, you're competing with X many years of my own inner monologue. So get in line. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's not like I always feel horrible about myself. It's not, It's not quite that, but it's, I just grew up, all my friends were always better looking and always had boyfriends. So it's hard to grow out of that mentality. I mean, it's just, again, I eventually got my confidence, but it doesn't mean I don't still in my inner core still feel that way.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's not a fan. He does not like that at all.
Right. Well, I imagine it must be hard. He probably thinks you're the most beautiful, woman in the whole world. So,
right.
So to hear you say negative things about yourself is probably hurts his heart.
Yeah, it does. I agree. It does.
Yeah, I get that. I think that Daniel also sort of doesn't know how to help me in those moments, which is fine. I'm not looking for help.
Right, but men want to fix, which I get. I get it for sure. How long have you guys been married?
Oh, sorry. We got married in 2014.
Okay.
So 7 years of marriage, and then we've been together 10 years.
Okay. And you got a 2 and a 4.
A 2 and a 4.
Oh, that's so sweet. Do they get along?
They do, but it's pretty recent. Now they're starting to play, and it is so sweet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So cute.
I never
2 little boys.
understood when my sister and I would be sweet to each other. My mom would come in and she'd be like, John, look. And I'm like, what is the big deal? But now I get it 100%. Like, I have never caught them hugging each other, but if I were to see that, I would
just burst
melt
into a million pieces. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for the longest time, they weren't at each other's throats or anything, but Owen kind of likes to needle Elliot, so he'll come up and like touch Elliot or do something like lay his head down too close, and Elliot will be like, no, I don't, and the more Elliot does that, then the more Owen wants to do it, and then I feel like, and then Elliot will like kind of kick. He won't kick Owen, but he'll come very close, and then I get involved.
Yeah.
But I feel like I shouldn't, and it's a whole thing. But just lately they've really started playing together, so it's really sweet.
That's sweet. That's good.
But what I was going to say is regarding the dating multiple people thing.
Yes.
I don't know if this is how it was for you, but I feel like there was a period of time where the advice to women was you should always be dating multiple guys because then you won't get overly hung up on any one of them until that guy has like proven himself. So, and there's this woman who wrote
interesting.
There's this woman, Pat Allen. I think she's probably awful, but she wrote this book, Getting to I Do. And it's an atrocious. It's an atrocious name. And she also would hold these workshops. I never saw, oh my God, I just remembered. My friends and I had this like semi-joking thing with like, WWPAD. What would Pat Allen do? But a couple of my friends had gone to one of her workshops and so had passed along to me this advice of like, date multiple guys because then you don't get too hung up on any one of them. So a couple times I tried it and I should have been a part of the conversation between you and Jimmy of I don't date multiple people. Where'd you come from? And I would be like, I want to be part of it. Me too. It never worked for me.
It didn't work. Yeah.
No, because within, 10 minutes, I would realize, well, I actually kind of really like this one and I'm not as into that one. So then I would feel really disingenuous still going on a date with the one I didn't really like. And I felt almost like, and I wasn't sleeping with them, but I felt like I was whoring myself out in a way. It was just very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So the one time I sort of came close to that, I was dating this guy who I really liked. I was attracted to this other guy.
Yeah.
And I said like, we can see other people, right? It was awful. I can't believe I said that. But
you're wincing.
I'm wincing because it feels so gross. And so I ended up seeing this other guy who he knew. And this first guy who I said that to, saw us out on a date.
Oh.
Which I only found out through a third party.
Right.
So I felt like trash. I felt like absolute garbage. Because I was always a person who was like really honest and like I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And I guess that was my way of not hurting his feelings was just anyway. So yeah, it just seems like a recipe for disaster, especially if you're like prone to feeling guilty as I am.
Yes, same. See,
it's
I feel like
a recipe for disaster.
Pat Allen, and I don't want to put words in her mouth. I have no idea what she even looks like.
Did she write this in the 50s though? Because that sounds very
No,
I mean, it sounds antiquated.
Yes, but she would say, well, you have nothing to feel guilty. I imagine she would say, you have nothing to feel guilty about because he hasn't put a ring on it yet. So blah, 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 blah. It's fine for you to date other people. It's just not realistic if you're a person who like cares about people's feelings.
Yes.
Tony, can you date a whole stable of women?
No, I also can't handle it. The closest I've come is like meeting, like a first date of just like kind of meeting somebody that I met on a dating app or something. Like there was like a week where I did that like with 2 different people in 1 week. And even that I felt weird about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you keep seeing either of them?
No.
Okay. Are you with someone now?
No.
Okay.
Ladies.
I suggest laying your seed all over the place. So you don't. Also, like the whole idea is to get attached to someone. So it's such a strange thing. Like date more than one person so you don't get too attached to them.
Well, I think
Isn't that the ultimate goal?
I mean, I think, and this is sort of, it's not the most charitable view of women, although arguably was realistic for me at that time. The idea being that I'm overgeneralizing, but women have a tendency to get too invested in something too early, and that can like scare a guy off. Okay, here's the book, Getting to I Do. Oh, I'm sorry. This book is by Sandra Harmon. So I don't know. So who's Pat Allen? What's going on? I know that Pat Allen.
That's a friend of your mom, so you just have it in your head.
Tony, will you look
Allen.
up Pat Allen?
I'm on
Oh, wait,
this.
no. Wait, what is going on? Okay, this says Getting to I Do, book by Sandra Harmon, and then
As told to Pat Allen.
Dr.
Yeah, that's-
Patricia Allen's jam-packed seminars in Los Angeles have resulted in over 2,000 marriages. I just clicked into it, so now I'm waiting for it to pull this up. Tony, if you come up with something faster.
Yeah, I'm literally seeing the same thing you are.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I can't-
weird because like if you type in Pat Allen, automatically Getting to I Do comes up.
I
Okay,
think
so it's her words put into a book form by this other interloper.
maybe. That sounds about right. I can't tell why Sandra Harmon is in here because it does seem to be, and I'm also trying to see the cover, but it's
Okay, on another website, it literally credits both of them. It says by Patricia Allen
Got
and
it.
Sandra Harmon.
Does it say what year it came out?
I'm trying to find that as well.
1995. Wow. Or 1994, actually.
See, and it was after that book, The Rules. Here's the rest of the little blurb. Dr. Patricia Allen's jam-packed seminars in Los Angeles have resulted in over 2,000 marriages. Now you too can take advantage of this proven step-by-step program.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so old-fashioned.
Yes. Do
I
you
was
remember
just-
that book, The Rules? Did you ever have that? Time-tested. Oh, you were probably already with Jimmy at this point. Time-tested secrets for
but I don't know what it is.
Time-tested secrets for capturing the heart of Mr. Right. My grandmother sent me this book, and it messed with my head so much.
Oh, no. What does it say?
Well, so you are a creature unlike any other, and there's a set of rules for capturing the heart of Mr. Right. You never accept a weekend date after Wednesday. So if he calls you Thursday, Friday, you're not going out with him. You set an egg timer by the phone, and you get off. It's always leave him wanting more. It's basically like a guidebook to manipulation. But
cocktease. How to
Yeah.
cocktease.
Right.
10 easy steps.
If he doesn't give you a romantic gift by however many months for like a holiday, however many months in, then you break it off. It's just all these. My feeling about that book was it could prolong a relationship with the wrong person, but it's
you mean
not
if they
gonna
pass all those steps?
like if you play all those, because you're never gonna really have a chance to tell whether you like this person or not, because the whole thing is just plain
Right.
hard to get. So
Well,
I don't think it would
also,
work with
if you're living in not the 1950s or 60s
Right.
and you're applying these rules, certainly the man doesn't know these rules exist because this is not a general way people behave. So you
Right.
wouldn't know that you're doing something wrong.
right.
I mean,
Well,
the whole asking someone out, I get the general idea. It's
Yeah.
like, be more considerate.
Mhm.
But at a certain point, that's not the way life works anymore.
I mean, I guess the idea is if he asks you out on Thursday and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm already booked, then he might, ask you out earlier next time.
Right.
And if you're always getting off the phone and you're always ending the date first and you're always, he's just going to be driven mad with desire and he'll have to lock it down. But then my favorite is like there's an appendix and it's like the rules for after marriage. I'm like, oh, but you've got to be kidding me.
Oh, God, no.
When are you ever
no.
yourself?
Wow, that's exhausting.
I know.
That is
I wonder what it's like. Then you'll find out before I do, since you have a kid who's older. Like, I wonder what dating is like now.
Yeah, he's not doing that yet. But I know a couple of his, like a female friend of his has a boyfriend for the first time. And I was asking the mom, because they've been in school together since they were in kindergarten, literally. And I was like, so what is that like? And she's like, it's okay. they just hold hands. They don't do anything. And I was like, okay, all right. So that's cool. And
That's sweet.
So, but I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. But none of his close friends have a girlfriend or boyfriend. So, yeah.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I guess I will find out.
Yeah. So let's do a round of Just Me or Everyone. And there's a little song.
Is it just me or everyone?
Okay, so this is where people write in with things they think or do, and they wonder, is it just me or is it everyone? And we weigh in. If you would like to submit one, please tweet it to ARIYN, so at ARIYNBF, that stands for Alison, Rosen is your best friend, and use the hashtag JMOE, just me or everyone, and we will discuss them on the show. But first of all, Danielle, do you have one of your own?
Yes, but first I want to comment on your song, which I think is fantastic.
Thank you.
Was the directive make this sound like a Miller Boyett sitcom opening theme? Because that is what it sounds like 100%.
Wait, are you talking about my opening theme song or what you just heard?
This theme song.
I think all of them. Yeah, all of my songs kind of have that vibe. It's
right out of Perfect Strangers or
Yeah. I never had that
Full
thought
House.
before, but as soon as you said it,
right,
yeah,
Tony, you're
totally
the music
right.
guy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So my Is It Just Me or Everyone is. So I have a 14-year-old, and like I said, I'm a mom of not a single mom, a mom of one kid. And I find myself looking at pictures of him when he was little, and then feeling guilty, like I'm cheating on him with a younger version of himself, because I miss the youngness so much. I mean, he's a great kid. He's not like a typical bratty teenager or anything like that. He's the sweetest. But I miss like the snuggling and the cuddling and the running around being crazy and I just adore him so much, and I feel bad. Like I don't want him to catch me looking at old pictures because I think he's like, Jesus, I'm right here. Like, God, the kid's still here. So I don't know if anyone does that. I mean,
my
you don't
gosh.
yet because your kids are still itty bitties.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny when you first said it, I thought, no, I don't do that. But I have had moments of feeling guilty looking at Elliot just from pictures at the beginning of the pandemic. I mean, they changed so quickly. Mm-hmm. And because he's almost 5 now, he'll be 5 in February. So he really is like a little boy now. He's not a baby. He's not a toddler. But I'll look at pictures from, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I'll see the babiness in his face. Yes. And I'm like, oh, and I feel sad that he's still the cutest, right. But I'll feel sad that little guy's not here anymore. And then I feel guilty because I feel like it suggests that I'm not like appreciating this, iteration of him.
Exactly. Now, he's not in kindergarten yet?
No, he's in pre-K. So he'll start in September.
Right. So one of the biggest changes I remember at the time, from the beginning of kindergarten to the end of kindergarten, was a huge difference. To me, I was like, oh, he's a person now.
Right.
So that's when it hit me. I mean, he turns, like he's young for his grade. So he always turns that age like right as school is starting. But I just remember like, oh, this is a big difference. And not bad, but just
right.
like, oh, he's a person. He's got like a personality, and he's not a toddler. Yeah.
Yeah. I always have this sort of vision of the two of them coming home from college and sitting around the table with their like adult bodies and just being like, yeah, mom, blah, blah, blah. And like, or even older than college, like when they're men. And I cannot imagine that. It's so hard to imagine.
I know. I remember when Oliver was a baby in his crib, and I would be in the other room, and I would picture, I'm like, someday he's going to just walk out of his room and be like, hey, mom. I remember as a baby, I was like, that's so weird. He's going to like be able to walk on his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And make his own decisions and enter the room when he wants to. Like,
right. And then also thinking like someday they're going to talk. They're going to have little voices and thoughts, and it's real crazy.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Okay. Chode to Joy says, I have no evidence to prove this, but Tuesday feels like the rainiest day of the week. Just me or everyone. I have all sorts of thoughts like this, but I've never specifically assigned a day of the week to be the rainiest.
No, I don't know where that person lives. Of course, in Los Angeles, we have very few rainy days, but I totally know what I get what this person means. I've not thought this, but I get what this person means.
How do you feel about rain?
So I love it because it's infrequent. I mean, I'm always cold. I'm a person who's always cold, and I love the sun. Like, my favorite thing is to go outside and read in the sun and just like have the sun directly beating on me is my favorite thing. However, I do like a change of pace. And when the pandemic first started and we had to be inside, I don't know if you remember, it was unusually rainy, and I didn't feel upset like everyone. I was just like, oh, this is great. Like, you don't have to do anything when it rains. You're allowed to have the day off and you just stay home and get, snuggly. So I'm really into snuggly. So I find it, a nice respite. I wouldn't want to live in it. I wouldn't want to live in Seattle probably, but I like it every once in a while.
Let's talk about snuggling. Do you typically are you like a snuggle on the couch person? Do you have a chair? Do you have a blanket? What's your snuggle environment?
You mean by myself?
Yeah, if you're getting cozy.
Yeah. Usually we have like one of those chair and a halves thing.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be in that or the couch. Unfortunately, during the pandemic, we got like a chair that folds out.
A recliner.
Like not a Barca lounger, like a nice version of, like a Barca lounger. And I was like, this is perfect. I'm just going to, because I started reading a lot, especially during the pandemic. This is perfect. I'm going to be in the front room where the sun is. And it hurts like a motherfucker. It hurts so badly. And I tried to exchange it and they wouldn't take it back.
Oh no.
So it's awful. And it's just, I like the way it looks, but I can't sit on it. It's awful.
Do I dare ask where it's from?
Yeah, it's from, Bob's? Is that what it's called?
Oh, Bob's
Furniture?
Discount Furniture?
Yeah. No, wait, is it from there? Oh, it's from the place with the song. Where is it from? No, it's not
Living
Bob's.
Spaces?
Living Spaces. That's exactly where it's from. It's from Living Spaces. Yeah.
Tony, you can play it.
Tony Thaxton.
No, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. They wouldn't take it back? That's Jackie Johnson. And I forget why we were singing things to the tune of Living Spaces.
That's amazing.
I don't remember how that actually started either.
No, they wouldn't take it back, so we're stuck with it. And again, I really like how it looks. And every once in a while, I'm like, I'll just try it one more. No, ow, pain.
Yeah. My mother-in-law purchased a sofa online, and
Oh, that's a risky move.
I know, but she's happy with it. I'm like, how? It's from like, not Wayfair. I think it's from like Jocelyn, Maine or something. I wish I could be the kind of person who just saw something, liked the way it looked, and then liked it in person. But I mean, belabored. When I lived in New York and I bought a couch, I must have gone and sat on, I dragged a friend with me. I feel like I owe her an email apology. I really made a meal out of choosing which couch I wanted.
Well, I mean, for a couch, you have to be comfortable
Yeah.
on it. It's not just an aesthetic thing. You really have to be comfortable. So I get that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does Oliver like this chair? Or Jimmy?
Oliver sits on it to like put his shoes on, I think. And no one really sits in it. It's just kind of decorative at this point. And it's a bummer because, like I said, it's just really hard for me to get comfortable. In general. That's probably just my own thing. But it's hard for me to get comfortable. So I kind of like fold myself up a lot. Like, I'm in the movie theater with my knees, like my feet up on the seat. I'm just weird.
I don't think it's that weird. Beck says, I'm slightly bothered that the biopic about Venus and Serena Williams is titled King Richard, TF, and that stands for the fuck? I didn't know this.
Well, isn't primarily about the dad and his sort of influence on them?
I mean,
is his name Richard? I'm assuming his name is Richard.
Tony, we're going to need some fiery fingers here.
I literally heard about this movie for the first time earlier today. Listening to Never Not Funny, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about it, but I do know that you and your co-host had a debate over biopic or biopic. I think it's biopic.
It's biopic. Biopic is weird.
Yeah.
I know people say it, but I just think they're wrong.
I do too.
Biopic.
Sounds like myopic.
That's what I said. But, I mean, it does make more sense because it's a biography.
Right.
It's
but it's a bio.
It's a
picture.
Picture. Yeah. Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Does this person say why it bothers them that it's called King Richard? Only because something already exists that's called King Richard? Or
I'm assuming it bothers her. Slightly bothered. I'm assuming she's slightly bothered because it's about Venus and Serena Williams. So why are we naming it?
Because I think
Richard?
it's about. I really think it's about their dad.
Yeah.
I think it's about his relationship with them, which is funny because the preview makes it look like it's all great, and I'm like, wasn't he like a real hard ass?
I don't know anything about this movie or him.
I thought he was kind of like Tiger's dad, but maybe I mean, I think you have to be, honestly. I think I'm not saying you have to be, but I think that's what makes, unfortunately, I think that's what makes a champion athlete.
Right.
Is that they're really run through the ringer. I don't think
Right.
I don't know.
Tony, what have you found?
The one-sentence IMDb description says, a look at how tennis superstars Venus and Serena Williams became who they are after the coaching from their father, Richard Williams.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
I think it's, yeah.
Okay. Katie Craven says, that's a cool last name,
Yeah.
if that's her real last name. I feel like it's an insult when there are people playing instruments on TV that do not match the audio whatsoever. There is no flute in Grazing in the Grass. Tony, you must notice stuff like this.
Oh, yeah, it drives me insane. It's more so, I feel like I don't necessarily notice the wrong instruments all that often, but the like bad fake playing
Yes.
does drive me nuts. The
I'll
worst
notice
fake
that.
guitar playing of all time is Lou Diamond Phillips in La Bamba.
La Bamba.
Really?
Oh, he's so bad. He's so bad.
Oh.
Like
That's what I love
kind?
about.
Like, is it like off, like out of time, or just like
You
what
can
kind
tell
of bad?
he just has no idea how to play guitar, and so his hands are just doing crazy
You
things.
would think
and-
someone would have,
Yeah.
like gone in there and made him be able to, taught him how to fake it.
I know. That's what I love about That Thing You Do. That Thing You Do, they made all those guys actually learn how to play
Did they really?
all of those songs. Yeah, so
That's
like
a sweet
everything you
movie.
see in that movie, they are playing correctly.
I remember hearing, or I don't know what the context was, but David Cassidy was talking about when they were first making The Partridge Family and how Danny, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name.
Bonaducci.
Danny Bonaducci. Well, he was just a kid, but he didn't know what he was doing. And he was supposed to play the bass and he was strumming it. David Cassidy was so mad because he actually was a musician and he was like always resentful that, the music was so saccharine. But I actually love the Partridge Family music. I think it's great.
Do you and Jimmy share musical taste?
If you look behind you, the answer is no. Behind me, rather. He's just stuck in the 80s, and there are certain songs he likes that I just never need to hear again. I mean, there's some overlap, but like I like a lot of stuff from the 90s. He doesn't like anything like that. I guess we agree on like classic rock stuff, older stuff. But yeah, it's kind of few and far between. He's just really into what he's into. And, I like Chicago, but I just don't need to hear those songs ever again. Because, I mean, it's just, so my husband's favorite band is Chicago, and he will still put on the same album that he's listened to for 50 years. And I'm like, I can't comprehend how you can still listen to this as if, like, I understand if it's on the radio, but you're putting it on. Like, you're putting it on. You need to listen. You need to hear it again. It's just, I'm also not as much of a music person as he is. So to be fair, I like what I like, but I'm not like, I was never a kid who was like obsessed with bands and reading the backs of, or reading the liner notes and stuff like that. I just wasn't that kid.
And do you share his love of musicals?
Yes, although we like different kinds of musicals.
Okay.
Because if there's no dancing in the musical, I don't really have a lot of use for it.
Mm-hmm.
So something like, what does he like? Well, he likes Jesus Christ Superstar. I hate it with a red hot passion. I can't stand it. It does nothing for me. I mean, we both like Hamilton, but like my favorite movie musical is Singing in the Rain because there's amazing dancing in it and charismatic actors and singing, and it's fun. And also West Side Story because, again, it has all those things. I mean, the singing is, we not the actor singing, but the dancing is just like unbelievable, and the choreography is unbelievable. So I'm much more interested in, if it doesn't have dancing, I'm kind of like,
How do you so like where do you come down with Andrew Lloyd Webber?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I'm really not. I like Evita, and
One of my faves.
I think there's one other one I like that I can't think of, but I hate Phantom. No, that's not him. Sorry.
No,
But
it
I
is
do
him.
hate- Oh, it is
It is him,
Okay,
yeah.
I hate Phantom. That's right. I hate Phantom. Cats Up obviously is, catchy tunes, but it's ridiculous. I did it in 4th grade.
You did?
My mom went to see it in England, and my mom was the head of our theater department in grade school. It wasn't really a theater department, but the plays. So we did, we did excerpts from Cats. And what else has he done? I'll tell you if I like it.
Sunset Boulevard.
I don't know the music from that. I remember liking the show, I think, but I don't really know the music very well.
Starlight Express.
I saw that in England when I was a kid. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy.
I saw it too, and I really have like no memory of it.
You don't remember the roller skating?
I mean, very vaguely, but I have a memory of it, but I don't have any memory of the story. I think I was too young.
Oh, that's because there's no story.
And
there's
also there's no story.
Yeah, I don't think there is a story. Yeah.
And then I forget if I ever talked with Jimmy about this. Did you see Love Never Dies, the sequel to Phantom? It was so god awful.
I didn't.
I
He did,
just
maybe, but I didn't.
and I hope this doesn't come between us. I love Jesus Christ Superstar.
Great.
I love the music. I did see it at the Pantages a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, I had never realized the way it's staged. I see what you're saying. Like, there's not a ton of dancing. It's
No.
mostly just like people standing there singing, and then there's
loud singing. Yeah.
some, acting out the story. But
Yeah.
but it is one of my faves. And I'm just I just love Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Wow.
So it's hard for me to admit Love
Yeah.
Never Dies, sequel to Phantom of the Opera, when the action moves from Paris to Coney Island, was really, really bad.
Why?
It was really bad.
Does he take a series of underground tunnels to Coney Island?
No, he comes to Coney Island because Christine Daae Raoul and her son. Why is he there? I don't know. I can't. That's how much the story is sort of forgettable. I can't remember why he's now there, but he lures her there.
Is there a tunnel of love? Scene?
I don't even think there's a tunnel.
Oh,
It's an entirely above ground abomination. But the music is actually very pretty and good.
Okay.
But the plot is just needs a redo.
It's weird to write a sequel to a musical. It's very strange choice.
Seems a little bit like a cash grab.
Yeah.
But I'm there ready to hand over my money. Again, if you like Andrew Lloyd Webber's stuff, the music, and I know that you don't, but the music is good. It holds up.
Yeah.
Story terrible.
But
forgettable.
I think Evita is it's all great songs. So
Yes.
I don't know. I don't have
love
like
Evita.
I don't hate him. It's not my thing. I'm more old school. I'm more, Kander and Ebb, and I'm like old school, old fashioned music.
Cabaret.
Cabaret is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Cabaret is really good. I saw, when I was pregnant, actually, we were in London, and I saw Cabaret. It was a little different than the movie. I can't remember. I wasn't really sure, what am I supposed to be feeling during it? But all the songs are great, and obviously the choreography in the movie is Bob Fosse. It's great, and so yeah.
I haven't seen the movie. I saw it in New York, and I remember feeling kind of neutral about it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I just wasn't in the right headspace to be seeing it at that time.
It's a weird show. I mean, that's
it's dark.
Said, that's how I felt. That's how I felt. It's very dark. It's very dark. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much a downer. But
Yeah.
it's still good music, and
Sad at the dawning of the Nazi era of Germany, and it is a downer.
Yeah,
But,
and that's not even necessarily the most downer part of it.
Right.
It's just Sally Bowles is prostitute and
Drug addict.
it's really sad.
But I was thinking just recently, I should watch the movie because I bet I would like
Yeah,
it.
you should. You definitely should. Yeah. What other Andrew Lloyd Webber
Shows are there?
shows are there? Or ones that you like? What do you like? Cats?
No, I mostly like Phantom. I like Jesus Christ Superstar, and I love Evita.
Yeah, Evita, like I said, I definitely get Evita.
Yeah.
That music is so beautiful.
I mean, I'm a big Mandy Patinkin fan.
Yes, of course. I mean, he's the bee's knees. Of course, see, I know him from, I mean, to me, he's Inigo Montoya. That's who he is.
Yeah.
To me, so,
Yeah.
but
Danielle, it was so nice getting to know you and
This
having
was
you
so
on the
much
show. Tell everyone where they can find you, what they should look out for, etc.
So the show again is called How to Survive with Danielle and Christine. You can find it wherever you find podcasts. If you go to Apple, it's not called subscribe anymore. It's called follow. If you follow us, obviously that counts more. That would be great. If you like it and want to leave a review, that's fantastic. We're on Twitter, pod How to Survive. We're on Instagram. We'll have a website soon, I hope. And yeah, we'd love to have people, and we'd love to have you come on.
I would love to.
Alison, I hope you can come on soon.
What
And
day of the week does it come out?
It comes out on Tuesdays. Thank
Okay.
you. That's a really good point. It comes out on Tuesdays. And yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, check it out, everyone. And you mentioned following. I always say, if you like what you're hearing, which I hope you do, but even if you don't like what you're hearing, just make sure you're subscribed or following or whatever it's called in
Right.
your app of choice. So you get the automatic downloads so you don't miss an episode. Again, for my show, please leave us for you know what? For my show, for Danielle's show, and for Tony's show. Just go
Yes.
leave 3 reviews right now for
There you
each
go.
show. Write 9. I'm just kidding. 3 reviews. Reviews help out the show so much. It helps the algorithm. It helps people find the show. And also it just makes us all feel good because we all go look to like, oh, what are they saying? So a fresh, great review helps a ton. I'm on Patreon. Patreon.com/Patreon. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen. Bonus episodes of The Friend Zone, videos for the Thursday show. That's my group show. There's a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. You can submit carbohydrates that I'll call you on the Thursday show. You can submit questions for all sorts of just tons of access to me. If you sign up for an annual subscription, you get 12 months for the price of 10, 2 months free. So that's quite a deal. And follow me on social media at Alison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram. Tony, what about you?
I am also on Twitter and Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
and my podcast Bizarre Albums every Tuesday. That's it.
All right.
We're huge fans in this house. We listen to it all the time.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Danielle, thank you again for coming on. It was wonderful
you.
talking to you.
This was really a blast.
Listeners,
so
thank
much.
you. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, that's okay. Listeners, thank you so much for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go.